Welcome back to Jungle Gap. Today we're back with another Inside the Mind of a Challenger Jungler, where I'm going to be explaining my thought process in a game many would consider very difficult or just straight up unwinnable. Now, the main topics and themes we're going to be covering are what your mindset should be after making a mistake, what your mentality should be when your team is inting or giving up, the fundamentals when playing from behind, and staying composed and not overforcing or overcompensating even when the game looks bad. What's up everyone, my name is Coach Leo and I'm an ex-pro jungler of 6 years, competing at events such as Worlds a total of 4 times, where I played against the best players across the globe. Now in 2024, I've been coaching hundreds of players to reach their dream rank. So if you've had enough of being the same rank every season and want to finally take action, book your first session and join the Jungle Gap Discord today. Heading into the game now, I quickly wanted to, although this video is, the focus is going to be on playing from behind, which is going to be more seen, and the fundamentals and the concepts are going to be more towards the mid and late game. I still wanted to kind of go through the early game, give my thought process, and kind of give some context to the video of how the game became as it was, and to kind of show, what the game state was and where I think most players would actually kind of think that the game was over. So, heading into this game, this was a game that I played not long ago on my main. This was during my climb to Challenger. And, I'm playing Kindred. So if anyone likes playing these really, really high tempo, junglers like this, high tempo carry junglers, this will be also a good game to kind of watch and listen to. And yeah, so let's get into it. So in this game, I have a LeBlanc, I have a Zarya, I have an Ashe in the bot side, and my thought process here, just to quickly, give my kind of game plan. In terms of win cons, I think that both teams are quite evenly scaled. Camille outscales Renekton, Kindred outscales the Jarvan, Hui outscales the LeBlanc, but Aphelios and Lulu kind of have this insane scaling power in the bot lane. So in this game, I think the scaling is quite even. In terms of objectives that I want to play towards, most likely I'm going to, if you're playing champions like Kindred, if you're playing champions like Nidalee, these champions don't do objectives very well. So you kind of want to think about the objectives as, or if I can take it, if it's efficient for me, if it's free, obviously, it's always what you want to be thinking about. But the biggest thing here is that you play for yourself, and that you don't try and overly prioritize any objectives, because like I said, you're not like a brand, you don't one-shot the grubs, you don't one-shot the dragon. And obviously the scaling is kind of even this game, so golden XP is going to be the most important thing. The biggest thing I'm thinking about when I'm playing LeBlanc, when I'm playing Kindred, is where can I get a kill? So this question in the checklist is definitely going to be very, very, very important. And as you can see in this game, can I get a kill top? It's kind of unlikely, not really much gank setup. It's probably going to be quite volatile, but Renekton is most likely going to be in a position to either, 1v2. It's just quite hard to kill a Renekton. He has his ease. And so I'm going to just let top kind of chill. Because, in the mid and bot lane, there's something much more important for me to be aware of and keep my eye on, which is, great gank setup in the mid lane. I really, really want to be playing around my LeBlanc, immobile enemy mid, and I also really, really want to be playing around bot lane, because my bot lane, they really, really want to play to push and poke and kind of win lane as hard as they can against an enchanter. So this is kind of like my thought process coming into this game. And, when I'm playing champions like Kindred, when I'm playing champions like Nidalee again, I want the game to be kind of chaotic. I want the game to be like, things are happening all the time. People are constantly fighting, because this kind of game is actually really good for me. Whereas if I'm playing a champion like Brand, that kind of really, really chaotic game is not very good for me, because I'd rather just full clear, get dragon, full clear, get dragon, full clear, get grubs. So, I'm instantly trying to, invade. And try and cause some chaos as soon as I can. So I'm going to just briefly go through the early game. I'll explain some fundamentals. I think in this case, my thought process here is that I'm going to start on the red buff. I'm going to 3 camp, and then I'm either going to look to invade the Jarvan or kind of like dive bot. Something like this. I just want to make sure that I am actually before or ahead of Jarvan. So, if I were to do like a blue side full clear down, right? I think this would be okay. But the thing is that I'm missing an opportunity here to not only invade Jarvan, because I actually think that I win 1v1 against Jarvan early. A lot of these scenarios where you're versing a a jungler that you're not sure if you win or not, usually it comes down to whoever gets the first jump. So for example, if I caught Jarvan on the blue buff, he would have had, getting chunked from blue, he would have used his abilities, etc. Whereas, if I was starting the blue and he catches me, then same thing. Vice versa, he would actually win the 1v1. So really it does come down to who wins. But the most important thing for me is I kind of want to be in proximity to the bot side for whatever happens, because I know something is going to happen. Or I think there's a very high chance that something is going to happen, and even not, I can invade Jarvan. Kind of the unfortunate thing about this game is that this ward was not very good. I don't know who placed that ward, but they kind of need to be reported. This ward should be here, so I can actually know where Jarvan is starting. So I can actually have a guaranteed play that I know, oh, he's starting red. Okay, he's pathing this way. Okay, I can go here. Oh, he's actually starting the blue. Because if he had started the blue here, I would simply just full clear as well. And I would maybe invade him on his top side instead. So information is very, very powerful. Information changes our decisions. Information is the number one thing. And speaking of information, camera panning. So camera panning, and I'm trying to realize, or I'm trying to figure out, am I going to do these raptors and invade blue, or take my top side or gank bot? And this kind of like intersection, I'm figuring out ahead of time what I'm going to do after these raptors. Because if bot lane was like, not trading at all, if they were just all full HP, nothing's going on, and I knew that Jarvan started here, of course I'm never going to like stay on the bot side. My initial game plan was just what I expect to happen. And what I expected to happen does end up happening in the bot side. They're trading like crazy. My bot lane really wants to win. Something crazy is going on. They end up actually, in this situation, kill the enemy bot before I can get there. So now I'm, because I didn't have that ward, and this is kind of the start of why this game wasn't great. I don't have the ward on the blue, so I have no idea where this Jarvan is. I'm basically just completely 50-50. This is a huge mistake that I actually shouldn't even go for here. I actually should have just kept clearing up. But I take a 50-50 play here, and I expect that Jarvan also wants to path around bot, which ends up being true, but for a different reason. So now I'm thinking, okay, he's pathing to top side. I'm looking to kind of get active. I'm being very, very opportunistic. And although this was a really, really big mistake, obviously, I'm wasting a lot of time because there's no dive mid. This is kind of like the limits and the how you want to be playing with these kind of champions. You want to be very, very, very opportunistic. So yeah, huge failed first round for me, honestly, because my bot lane already 2v2 killed, and I should have recognized that I didn't have enough information to actually invade his bot side successfully. But we ended up just trying to kind of like adapt anyway. Jarvan actually did end up pathing around bot because he, as expected, both junglers are just going to be trying to path around bot. So I think I actually end up, getting something. Something is better than nothing. And we also know what kind of Jarvan did now as well. He did some kind of funky pathing. I think he did red wolves blue, which still gives level 3. But yeah, the main thing to kind of consider when playing champions like Kindred, very, very adaptable. Doesn't mean you can't full clear. Let me get that straight. It just means that the same gank for like a Lilia, for example, this gank for a Lilia, actually maybe not this gank is a good example, but maybe a gank that's like 40% chance for a Lilia is like 60, 70, maybe even 80% chance for like a Kindred, just because the difference in their kits. Kindred has very, very high damage early, a lot of mobility, a lot of ways to actually get on the enemy, whereas Lilia does not have that. Lilia's strength is to full clear because she clears very quickly. And as we can see, mid lane was one of the lanes that I wanted to keep my eye on. Burning his flash, and obviously this is I'm just kind of crossing to the top crab here. But burning this guy's flash, even if we only got his flash and my LeBlanc misses the chain, this is a really, really insane gank because snowballing my LeBlanc and kind of picking on the enemy mid this game is really good because he has no mobility. So once his flash is down, anytime that my LeBlanc can simply W forward, if he lands the chain, he's dead. And this is something that I really, really, really want to play around. I really want to snowball through mid in this game. Okay, so we see Jarvan has got to the top scuttle first. Throw some pings out as soon as you have the information. That's a very important fundamental to ping to your team where the danger is. Ping what you know. So, in a lot of cases, I see people just ping where they think, which is okay. if if you feel like your top lane is under danger and you think that he could be on Krugs, it's kind of okay to danger ping, but generally you want to just ping when you have the information. So as you can see, if I just quickly go back, I'm not pinging yet. I'm pinging that maybe danger here because, his Raptors are his only camp. So just pinging when you actually have the information is important. So I'm gonna skip forwards here. I'm trying to be better at the whole skipping thing. I know some people get a bit, it's a bit annoying for people. So I'm gonna, try and work on skipping in my videos. But here I'm just gonna simply full clear down. So this is an interesting situation where, I have 1300 gold. So when is the time to kind of like base? So let's actually analyze this. Okay, so in this case, I actually base here because I have 1400, right? And like I say, if I was playing like a Brand here or a Lilia, I would full clear. I would actually not base. I would just full clear, get a better base, make sure all these camps are cycled together. But as Kindred, I'm just interested in buying my items, getting back on the map, and trying to do what? Punish this guy having no flash. Because the thing is, if I just full clear here and I just greed, I'm gonna be off the map for such a long time, where I'm going to be missing opportunities if I do that. So in this case, as Kindred, it's better to just base and get some components. I also had 1300, which is nice for this, I forgot what this item is called, but there's a blue item that builds into Triforce. And so, yeah, eventually we'll see how this game kind of goes down, and we'll be able to talk about how to play from behind. So I see a chance to do Dragon because, like I said in the kind of, in the checklist, in the pregame, what my thoughts were, I'm expecting him to be on Grubs here. I know that I can't really contest a Renekton level 6. It's kind of dangerous. So I'm simply just going for the trade. I'm simply just continuously playing around my bot lane. A big thing that people have to understand is that you want to play towards a strength, not like a weakness. So right now, this Camille for me is actually a weakness because he's losing lane. Well, he's not losing lane, but he's a lot weaker than his enemy laner. So, you never want to try and help or play towards, the weak side. You always want to play towards the strong side, because playing towards the strong side will give you more than it'll allow you to do things like this. For example, taking enemy Gromp, diving bot, taking bot scuttle, taking dragon, because I have a strength in the bot lane where my bot lane is winning. And as we can see, this is going to be the start of the kind of, oopsie. The start of the, playing from behind, I would say. So let's actually analyze this dive real quick. I mean, this was just, generally this kind of dive is pretty good, but I think, we kind of just miss everything and we don't have enough damage. His gun's are also pretty good for this kind of situation. So yeah, ends up not being very good. The whole idea with this dive is that even if you trade like 1-for-1, like the Zara, for example, if the Zara died here and Aphelios still died, it would still be quite good because of that wave that he was just missing here. He was missing a really, really big wave. So, I still say this dive is actually, I still would go for that dive again, to be honest, even if, Zara just needed to kind of land her abilities. And as we can see, the Jarvan is top here. He took the grubs, so instantly, I'm still really, really looking to punish that Hway no flash, and I'm still having a little bit of a timer here where I'm doing it, so I'm not going, I'm not going instantly to his camps here. I'm not going instantly to the scuttle here. You always want to try and take the best thing first, and this kill right here is the best thing. It's the most impactful play. It's the play that will give me the most in the game. And, having a LeBlanc, she has 2 dashes. She can basically jump across the map. No flash on the Hway, free kill. We see them diving top. Here, I think it's a mistake. I should have gone for the enemy blue side camps before scuttle. But here I'm kind of just waiting for my bot lane to come back, and I'm trying to find the timer. So, I need to find the timer where as soon as they get back here, and as soon as Zara gets back here, I kind of need to find the timer to come here, to gank, before the Jarvan resets and comes to these camps. So here again, I'm still choosing how I'm going to use my tempo. Am I going to take these 2 camps? Or maybe even just only 1 camp, or am I going to gank bot? And in this case, let's see what I choose. I really want to go for the bot gank. They just back off. So that was the wrong decision here, because they had no reason to kind of stay around bot. As soon as they took this plate, they can kind of recognize that, hey, Kindred was not on the bot side, his mark was bot as well. So, you know, better players will obviously react better to what the map state is. They're still kind of playing, you know, here. And again, another misplay. So there's a lot of misplays here kind of mechanically. Me and Zara, again, go on different targets, i.e. the Lulu. He is the AD carry. And as we skip forwards, you know, once that play is over, right? So in these situations where, you know, you've kind of done your job, there's nothing more for me to play for here, right? And I know that Jarvan is somewhere here, so I can't play for these camps. I can't play for this dive. You don't also, still, once I've used that time to kind of gank bot, I don't need to stay around here and like protect them. I don't need to stay here and hold their hand. All I need to do is send some kind of danger pings. I mean, obviously Jarvan just runs straight through, flashes and kills. But this is not really your responsibility. The only thing, you know, obviously I could have done better is I could have danger pinged them. I could have back pinged them. And look here. So this is where it kind of starts, right? Everyone's just saying FF. Yeah, FF, like, you know, top lane died. We didn't get anything on that bot timer. You know, what just happened in that round is like they killed my Camille, but we did nothing bot side basically. And this is what's going to happen, right? And so when people start kind of saying FF like this, yes, I completely understand. You know, games are very, very frustrating, especially when you have to deal with other players. But, you know, kind of the most important thing to realize is that, you know, even if this game ends up being a loss, there are still things that you can take from it, and there are still things that you can apply to like your next game. And it's also important that you don't let a game like this kind of bleed into your next game. Because trust me, like, you know, I've had enough experience, and I still deal with these issues to this day, and I still tell myself the same thing here, which is just like kind of play your own game, win or lose, outcome, you know, aside from things. Play the best that you possibly can, and in some games you'll be able to win. So some games like this that are looking, you know, bad. Obviously, this game isn't looking as bad yet, but people are giving up. It's important that you just keep your composure, keep your agency, and some of them you'll win. What we're looking to do here, right, is like out of the 10 games that you would have just instantly lost here by just also giving up and tilting and whatever, we're just trying to win like even like 3 or 4 more of those games, right? We're just trying to win 3 or 4 more of those games. And I know it's easier to kind of just tilt and run it down with them, or just like not really care and just kind of give up. But really, if your goal is to improve as a player, you will take these kinds of games, take what you can from them, learn what you can, even if it's just 1%, that you get better 1%. You know, maybe if it's just this game that, you know, I make sure to get a ward on the enemy's jungle early, or, you know, obviously there are other things that will happen eventually in this game. But even if you just get 1% better, that's fine. So continuing to analyze this now, you see, you know, even this could be a classic situation as well, where like, you know, you think the game is over and you're just like, oh, you know, whatever, like, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to go top. I'm going to try and kill this Renekton. But stick to your game plan. Look, I'm back pinging here. This is their grubs. I know that Jarvan can be topside. If I go top here, we're getting double killed. So I'm still, even though my team is giving up, yeah, and he just gets, yeah, we would just get double killed from this Renekton here. So I'm still just playing. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I can to win. Jarvan's topside again. Can't contest the grubs. Trying to be opportunistic, trying to find things on the strong side. A very, very important topic that I talk about in my coaching sessions, which is match or trade. So generally, if you're stronger, you always want to try and match. So like, for example, if we had a stronger top and I was stronger than Jarvan, you always want to cross and like match this. But when you're weaker, you need a trade, which is looking for something on the opposite side of the map, whether that is just like a Gromp, whether that's just a blue, whether that's just like a Scuttle here. You know, best case scenario, you can try and do something around like this tower and try and dive or something like that. But if you can't do that, you can just go for a small thing. And here, you know, we have an Asher. This is the reason why I'm playing around the bot side, right? Because I have these tools to kind of get myself ahead. And I'm still very, very confident in this game. If I, you know, stick by my fundamentals, if I play well this game, this is not a lost game. This is all up to me. I know that in this moment. I know if I play well, you know, some games you'll have to go above and beyond compared to others. But I know if I play well this game that I can still carry and win. And it's really, really important to have that kind of mindset. No matter how bad the situation is. Okay, so we get another dragon. So this is already pretty good because I know also in this game, like I said, the scaling advantage obviously it's pretty even. They have an Aphelios Lulu. But for myself, I know that I definitely outscale this Renekton and this Jarvan. So, and I also think we have a pretty good team comp against these kind of champions. We have a lot of, peel with the Zara, with the Kindred ult, stuff like this. And so here, I'm just looking to, on champions like Kindred, on champions like Nidalee, I'm being very, very, very opportunistic. I know that kind of Lulu is coming back here. They're a little bit split, the Lulu and the Aphelios. So I take my chance and I jump on the Lulu. And this is all to do with just fundamentals of match and trade. I couldn't contest the grub. So if you think back, if I actually went for that Renekton here, right? Because I kind of gave up. I'm just like, okay, let's just try this. And this is the exact trap that players fall into. They just say, oh, whatever. Let's just try it. If I had tried to do this, if I tried to match the Jarvan here and we just get double killed here, yeah, then the game is over. But if you find an opportunity like this, where you trade, this will actually change the outcome of so many of your games. So yeah, we get a double kill here. And although I think, if I remember correctly, this doesn't end up great, the idea is still there. The idea is that you're making a counterplay. Okay, Renekton TPs. I think Camille... Yeah. And the play ends up actually being okay. And this is just because, like I said, of that match or trade fundamental. I'm just looking, I'm always looking for like kind of what's next. This is another thing that I teach the students that I coach is like when something goes bad, just ask yourself what's next, and that'll keep you from kind of dwelling on that past mistake, and you'll actually make a if you make a next educated decision when you're not emotional and things like this, you'll be surprised with how many games and how many decisions and how many plays you make. So instantly here, I'm thinking about what's next after I die here. Because I'm thinking, out of base, if I just quickly skip back here, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be able to, there's nothing more I can do on this side, right? This side of the map. The play is finished. So instantly I'm thinking, what's next? Okay, well, maybe I can get this. Maybe I can get this. There's still fighting happening down here. Jarvan was obviously Jarvan could also path towards the top side here on the mark. But I know obviously I'm fairly certain that I win the 1v1. I see Jarvan going to the bot side now. So, look, I'm still just playing for myself. I'm just asking what's next. Match or trade? Well, in that situation, I couldn't really match them here because I didn't have enough tempo. I wasn't going to be involved in that play. So whenever you're not really being able to be involved in a play, just play for yourself. And so here again, just because I said what's next and I didn't dwell and I didn't run back to bot and I didn't play emotionally, I'm getting ahead again. I'm getting his topside camps. Being very opportunistic again here. Maybe a little bit too opportunistic. I definitely should have just cleared down here. Skipping forwards. Still pathing towards bot. Still wanting to play around bot. And now we have entered the mid game. 14 minutes. And yeah, this game is just going to be all about that exact thing. Keeping my composure and sticking to these fundamentals. And this is why I have these things written right here, right? This is why I'm talking about the mindset you should be after making a mistake. Ask what's next. What your mentality should be when your team is inting and giving up. Well, you just need to recognize that, yeah, you still may lose this game, but at least you can get 1% better, and in some cases, you can actually carry. And yeah, lastly, staying composed and not overcompensating. So like when my Camille was dying 1v1 top here, running and trying to help her, that's called compensating. You're compensating for someone else making a mistake and you feeling pressured to do something that you don't actually do. The biggest difference between playing from behind and playing from ahead and playing from, a neutral point, there is no difference. Just the fact that when you're playing from behind, there's actually going to be less opportunities for you. So it means that you need to stay composed. And obviously, enemies will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. They're not going to play perfectly. When you play from behind, you're going to have less opportunities, but the enemy still, obviously the enemy have to make mistakes, but they will. It is solo queue. So you're just waiting for the opportunity to present itself. It's really, really important. Just like this, right? So if I quickly go back here, again, I'm giving the Rift Herald, right? I'm not looking to fight the Rift Herald. Should we match the Rift Herald? No. Should we trade? Yes. I'm looking to trade again. And look, exactly what I'm talking about. This Renekton, makes a mistake. And I'm just waiting for opportunities to present themselves. So here he goes. This is perfect for me. And this is like for this enemy team and for this enemy Jarvan, this is really, really annoying to play against. Someone that knows how to match and and trade when you're weaker and look to make these kinds of plays. It's really, really annoying for this Jarvan to play against, because it's like, you know, he feels like, you know, he should be winning right now very, very easily, but just for the fact that I continuously am doing this it would be very, very annoying. It'd be very, very frustrating. Now he's, you know, thinking, you know, his team is the one inting, which is true. So yeah, even when they Rift Herald mid, right, I'm not overcompensating. I'm not instantly running there to try and help them. I'm simply just playing for myself, and I'm just going to wait for another opportunity to present itself. I'm not going to overforce. I'm not going to overcompensate. Mute all is a great option if you're not using that already. To make sure that you're not overcompensating and make sure your decisions are not influenced by your teammates. It's okay, so we're taking a base. Oh, I wasn't doing the Triforce Collector build this game. This was the last patch, that's why. So again, look. Come at a base, Renekton's losing his mind again. So we're just going to punish him. And now the difference between this situation and before, right? The difference between me being here and wanting to base for my Kraken Slayer. Now, because I've made all these correct decisions in this game, because I never gave up my agency, because I'm strong right now, I'm able to kill this Renekton. If I was much weaker, right? If I had made all these mistakes, if I had like kind of dwelled on my mistakes and the game was just over here and the Renekton hadn't died and he had gotten more gold, you know, maybe he just double kills us here. And that kind of kill is literally a direct result of having the correct mindset and having the correct fundamentals. That kind of play does not happen if I had given up with my team, if I had not asked myself what's next, if I had not used match or trade as well as I did. And so now this game is completely up to me. Like, if I win or lose, like, this game is on me now. If I lose this game, obviously, if my 4 teammates turn their monitors off and run it into them, obviously, there's nothing I can do about that. But this game is literally on me to carry now. And so here, I'm just being more greedy. They go for Dragon. I don't care. I'm going to play for myself. This is my identity. I'm going to take my mark every day of the week. You know, even though we killed Renekton there, I'm not going to run straight to Dragon and try and, you have to accept reality as well. Like, that was the trade. They get Dragon, I get Renekton kill and mark. But I'm always taking that trade every day of the week. Because I already had got 2 dragons, right? I have the time now. There's nothing that they can do in this game that stops me from scaling extremely hard and just becoming like 1v9. There's nothing they can do about that now. And so another opportunity, I think, presents itself in the side lane. Wei is there. I have my LeBlanc, so this is still kind of going through. I'm consistently just trying to pick the side lanes and kind of, now it's kind of my chance to use my lead to impact the game. And I think this is really important. And this is kind of the skill of jungle. As you'll see here, I think I remember this, is that doesn't actually end up great for us. But this is really the skill of jungle. And obviously you need to make plays. You can't just sit there and farm all game, right? That's not going to win you the game. The point is that when you get strong enough, you try and make impactful plays. And my impactful plays this game is trying to just consistently pick people off and pick the side lanes with my lead. And although this actually ends up in me dying, this is the kind of play that you go for and you kind of just take accountability. If this is what loses you the game, that's fine. It was on you, right? At least you're able to reflect and say, I shouldn't have gone for this play. I'm the one who threw. I take accountability, and kind of move on. And you'll improve from that. Maybe the reason why you couldn't go for this is just because no one was showing on the map, which is already if we can go back here, right? No one is showing on the map when I actually go for this way. Because, Renekton's top, but he has TP. Aphelios is mid. But Jarvan and Lulu are both not accounted for, and they also have TP. So, you do this play, yeah, win or lose. Try and mechanics max it. This is also something I feel like a lot of players are missing from their game. It's just simply having that killer instinct to just go for something. Sometimes it's actually, especially on champions like Kindred, but for a lot of champions, actually turning your brain off a little bit can sometimes, sometimes players need that. Sometimes players have too much killer instinct and they need to be more methodical, but sometimes players are too methodical and they're just AFK farming and thinking like, well, why am I losing? Right? You need to make an impact. You need to make impactful plays to actually carry the game. You need to make impactful plays to have impact. And so whether they go like this or not, this was a huge throw, right? The whole map just kind of starts falling. My team, I think, makes some okay plays here. You know, after I die like that, right? It's important that after you like that again, what's next? The only time where you really want to think about what just happened is like in a team fight. So if in a team fight you realize, oh, I shouldn't have been diving their back lane. Instead, I should have like been peeling for like my Ashe or something. That's fine. But apart from team fights, the only time you should ever think about, you know, what has just happened, you always just want to ask what's next. So what's next here? You know, I'm seeing like potentially some little kills. I have nothing to farm. There's nothing for me to really do. I would consider this to be downtime here, but I'm just kind of playing a little bit cheesy. I'm playing towards my champion identity a little bit. And these kind of X factor plays is what makes champions, is what makes champions like Kindred and Nidalee. This is the reason why people say, oh, don't really play these champions until you get high elo. It's just because these kinds of plays require more experience and kind of require more foresight and kind of require that a bit extra, you know, cheese to it. But again, this is how you want to be playing these champions. If you do, you know, if you do like playing things like Kindred and Nidalee. And so then, you know, I'm having some downtime now. I'm low, but I can obviously just heal from the camps. And, you know, we're just going to kind of watch the rest of this game play out. And see now it's all going to be about impactful plays. And it's all going to be about how I actually use that lead. Okay, so Ashe is basing. So again, this is still kind of down tempo because even though, like, look at the tempo lines, right? Some tempo lines are pretty even. So we're all ready to go, but we're waiting for Ashe. So even though one person sets off the, you know, the tempo of the team, you have to account for that. And this is just fine as well because I have all my camps spawning. And as soon as my team is back now, okay, LeBlanc bases. Now the tempo lines got messed up again. But as soon as LeBlanc TP's here, look, I'm ready to fight. Okay, my awareness was kind of bad here. I should be looking to fight straight away. Yeah, this is definitely something. As soon as I saw that TP, I should have been here right now. I actually should be fighting with them right here, right now. This was actually a mistake. As soon as LeBlanc TP'd and it was up tempo, I'll quickly go back right here. This is good tempo lines. Everyone's tempo line here is good. So I definitely should have just like skipped the blue and gone here. This was a pretty bad mistake actually. I ended up getting involved eventually anyway, which is good to see, I think. But yeah, not good. Should have been there earlier. Again, looking for really, I wouldn't even say cheesy plays, but just punishing them because I'm strong. Still have ult. You know, Renekton really doesn't like playing against champions like Kindred. I try to jump over the wall there. And so I think what this round highlights is that, you know, when your team has bad tempo lines, when everyone's desynced, you want to just chill and farm. You don't want to find yourself like fighting for their camps and getting caught and dying and kind of throwing. But then as soon as your tempo lines are good again, which I'll just quickly skip back to, as soon as your tempo lines are good with your team, this is when you want to be going in. This is when you want to be playing for this vision, playing for this fight, playing for these camps. And because we did everything right this game and we kept our composure and we kept our fundamentals and we got really strong, it gives us the chance to actually impact these fights and make the difference in them. So now, because Jarvan was, you know, kind of sitting all game, just running around ganking, I'm up 2 levels. I have 2.5 items. And so that difference, you know, having that difference is what allows me to kind of carry these fights. Okay, so what happens next? Let's see what we do after this fight. So I end up getting very low. So I end up just basing instantly. Dragon is spawning, so I'm consistently thinking about the reason why I base there is obviously I want to be on tempo for this dragon. And I want to be there on time. Here I'm just shadowing LeBlanc. I'm making sure that if anyone touches this bot wave, we're there. We see the enemy team start going to Baron. I'm really commanding my team here as well. So when I get really far ahead, it's more likely your team kind of listens to you as well. Obviously, the team should listen to me here because we don't want to give them Baron, but just in general, being kind of an in-game leader and commanding your team what you want from them is really important. So telling your team what you want is really important. And now that we kind of have like control of mid and control of the Baron, and we'll see if they do the Baron, I want to go back to the Dragon now. This is third dragon for us, so getting soul kind of secures us the win. So this is just the highest priority thing. Over going to the mid fight here, taking this dragon is like my highest priority right now. Jarvan gets caught somewhere. And let's see what happens here. I mean, I'm not sure why I'm not going Baron here. Honestly, this is another really big mistake, honestly. And now I recognize, finally. So yeah, I should have immediately, as soon as they killed Jarvan, I should have immediately be going to Baron. So you see, even in these games, like, there are plenty of things. Even though I'm playing, like, overall a pretty good game, there are still plenty of things that, like, little mistakes that could make you 1% better just from reflecting on a game like this, even if you were to lose. You know, I think it's a big thing that a lot of players do, and I even do this myself. I'll just say, my team was just too bad. I couldn't win. And even if that was the case, you can always take something from the game. You can always take some kind of learning from the game, something you experienced, something you reflected upon. Okay, so uptime, downtime, let's go back to it. All my team is ready to go here, so I start the pings out. You know, I'm kind of syncing up my temp. You know, this is what I like to call sneaky camps. You know, you can do a camp as you're walking towards the lane that you're playing around. It's fine to do that. As long as you're here for when LeBlanc is CSing this wave or trying to push, as long as you're here at this timer, it's fine. You can do whatever you want until then. So I'm communicating a lot now. I'm telling my team exactly what I want. That was a pretty interesting hold, not gonna lie, but I think I was just, you know, wanting to make sure that even if Renekton kind of stunned me and Jarvan EQ'd me, I wouldn't get one shot. And as soon as I recognize that we can't actually siege his tower anymore, I think I just leave and go look to farm something else and go look to take something else. Consistently, even when you're winning, it's still important that you continuously keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger and securing the win. Shadowing the mid tower here. And now we're back to camps. And now this is what is called downtime, or just like, you know, people should be starting to base now. But obviously this is what happens, like your team fights here. And you just have to, in these kind of situations, you just need to look, okay, can I make it here? Am I in proximity? If you can't make it here, if your team is inting, then you just do something else. You take this wave, you take this, you play downtime again. So you have two options, but you need to be watching the fight, which I should be doing. And in this case, I'm just like, okay, well, whatever my team does, whatever. It's all okay. And now I end up actually going. Because I think in this situation, because the fight was prolonged, it wasn't just like okay, I'm on wolves and like either my team dies or kills them. So if my team had died, obviously I'd do what I said just before. I would just clear. If my team instantly died. But since my team didn't instantly die and they're actually winning, they actually kill the way, I think I make the decision to actually come here and join the fight. And I think this was probably like the last fight. And I actually don't know if it's won. I think my build this game was really, really bad as well. That's another thing. So as soon as the fight is lost, we kind of just get out. And then I play my downtime now. So look, when everyone's dead like this is your time to just consume the entire map. Take this, take this, take this, take this, take this. And this is why also it's important that you stay alive after fights. So if you kill the enemy, it's important that you're alive so you can do this. If you lose the fight, it's kind of important that you're alive as well so you can do this. Ended up basing to sync my tempo, but I still get these camps. And now we're just playing for the last dragon fight. Recognizing that this guy is again trolling. This is an opportunity that presents itself. Pick this guy up. Playing really, really aggressively here. We killed the Hui, so I'm pinging that, like, you know, the best thing in this scenario is actually not even just the dragon, it's actually pushing the towers. My team doesn't want to go for it though, so it's fine. You know, even though it's 4v5, I think that should have been the better play here, but I just accept, you know, what my team is doing, and we just go get this all. And the enemy FFs. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you were able to take some things from this video and apply it in your own games. Leave a comment down below what you'd like to see next. There's a Kindred video playing in the background right now, which is, I think, is going to be my next video, which is about actually closing games out when you're ahead rather than playing from behind. So hope to see you there.